welcome to church this morning. I hope you've had a nice weekend so far. It's warming up in Mackay, isn't it? Getting quite warm now. I've got a question that I'd love you to be honest about answering. It's an easy one, and I want you to answer this question just by raising your hand, all right? And I think it'll be fun for all of us to see how many hands are raised. Have you ever gone to a school or worked in a place of work that has had a chaplain? Put your hand up if you've been to school yourself or worked in a place that has had a chaplain. I wonder if I was to say, have you visited a place as well and had the services of a chaplain, thinking about maybe hospitals or other places? Well, I don't know how many that was. It wasn't everyone, but I think it was probably about 80% of us. 80% of us at some stage in our lives have had access to a chaplain. Now, I think Christmas and Easter, as well as Anzac Day to some extent, are still moments in our culture where Christianity crosses over the normal part of our culture. But I actually think chaplains play big, maybe a bigger role in our society as well, don't they? Like, it's still one place in Australian society where the message of Jesus crosses over with our normal culture. Well, today is Chaplaincy Sunday for us, and we're going to be hearing from Phil and from Amy a little bit later on the role that they play in schools here in Mackay in chaplaincy. I'm a high school teacher, and I've had the privilege of teaching mostly in schools that have chaplains. The only one school that I taught in that didn't have a chaplain subsequently got a chaplain. I think there can be academic reactions to chaplains in schools from time to time, but overwhelmingly my experience has been that practically everyone loves chaplains and their vital role that they play in state schools or private schools. So really looking forward a little later on to hearing more on that from these guys. But to kick off our service, we're going to do what we always do. We're going to stand and sing praises to our God. So please join us as we do that.
Kings and kingdoms will bow down, and every shame will break, as broken hearts declare His praise. Who can stop the Almighty? Our God is the Lion of Judah. He's roaring with power, and He's fighting our battles. Every knee will bow. as we were waiting without hope, without light, till from heaven you came running. There was mercy in your eyes to fulfill the law and prophets. To a virgin came the word from the throne with endless glory to a cradle in the dirt. Praise the Father, the Son, praise the Spirit, three in one. God of glory, majesty, praise forever to the King of Kings. To reveal the kingdom coming and to reconcile the lost, to redeem the whole creation. You did not despise the cross, for even in your suffering you saw to the other side, knowing this was our salvation. Jesus, for us sake you died. Praise the Father, praise the Son, praise the Spirit, three in one. God of glory, majesty, praise forever to the King of Kings. All of heaven held its breath, till our soul was moved for good, for the Lamb who conquered death. And the dead rose from their sin, and the angels stood in awe, for the souls who rolled sing by the rider's sword, and the shout Jesus Christ, who has resurrected me. Praise the Father, praise the Son, praise the Spirit, three in one. God of glory, majesty, to the King of Kings, praise forever to the King of Kings.
Please take a seat. Well, kids, we're going to have a little bit of a look at your kids' story now. So I want you to follow along on the slides as we have this talk from the book of Isaiah, but about the God we've just been singing about, the King of Kings. Now, here we go. A long time ago, before Jesus was born, Judah had a king. Judah's king lived in the city of Jerusalem, and the name of that king was Hezekiah. Hezekiah was a good king who trusted God, and so all the people of Judah trusted God too, just like their king. But King Hezekiah had a problem. Hezekiah had an enemy. And his enemy was another king, the king of Assyria. His name was Sennacherib. In Isaiah chapter 36, we read how King Sennacherib's army surrounded Jerusalem. And his army was enormous. King Sennacherib was a bad king. And he was a powerful king. And he thought he was a great king. He actually thought he was invincible. So King Sennacherib sent his top commander to the people of Jerusalem. The commander called out, "Don't listen to your king. We have you surrounded, and no one is coming to help you. And even if they do, our army is bigger than anyone else's. Your God won't help you either. King Sennacherib has captured lots of countries, and none of their gods rescued them. What makes you think your God can help you? And what's more, God told King Sennacherib to attack you." But the people of Jerusalem did just what King Hezekiah told them to do. They said nothing. They trusted King Hezekiah. They trusted God. When Hezekiah heard King Sennacherib's boast, he fell to his knees and prayed. Hezekiah begged God to protect his people. He begged God to show Sennacherib who's boss. And God heard Hezekiah's prayer. God sent Hezekiah a message through Isaiah, his prophet. Isaiah's message was, "Do not be afraid. Everything will be all right. Sennacherib is the one who should be afraid, not you. God will fight against him and his army will be defeated. Then he will return to his hometown and there he will die." And everything Isaiah said would happen, happened. God fought against King Sennacherib's army. King Sennacherib was forced to go home. And King Sennacherib was killed in his hometown, just as God had said. Children, I wonder if you remember Isaiah's words to Hezekiah. "Don't be afraid," he said. Although Sennacherib was the most powerful king at the time, he was no match for God. God is more powerful than the largest army. God is stronger than the strongest king. No one can stand up against him. No one can defeat him. So children, if you trust in the God of the Bible, you'll have nothing to fear, because God, the King of Kings, always wins. He always gets his way. That's why we sang to him that he's the King of Kings. Well, kids, it's now time for you to go, so you know what to do. But if you don't, if you are in kindy church, you head down the back to the left-hand side. You're going out with Matt through that door to the air-conditioned corridor. You're the luckiest of us all. If you are in the primary school program, head on down the back with Amanda and others, Tate and others. You're heading out to your rooms out there. For the adults, say good day to one another, and Christy will come up in a moment and read for us from Isaiah and Mark, and then the chaplains are coming up, which should be awesome. 2 minutes, say good day.
So the first reading this morning will be from Isaiah. So Isaiah 55, verse 1 to 9. Isaiah 55, 1 to 9. Come, all you who are thirsty, come to the waters, and you who have no money, come buy and eat. Come buy wine and milk without money and without cost. Why spend money on what is not bread, and your labour on what does not satisfy? Listen to me, and eat what is good, and you will delight in the richest of fare. Give ear and come to me, listen that you may live. I will make an everlasting covenant with you, my faithful love promised to David. See, I have made him a witness to the peoples, a ruler and commander of the peoples. Surely you will summon nations you know not, and nations you do not know will come running to you because of the Lord your God, the Holy One of Israel, for he has endowed you with splendour. Seek the Lord while he may be found. Call on him while he is near. Let the wicked forsake their ways and the unrighteous their thoughts. Let them turn to the Lord, and he will have mercy on them, and to our God, for he will freely pardon. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. The next passage from the New Testament will be Mark chapter 1, verse 29 to 39. So Mark chapter 1, 29 to 39. As soon as they left the synagogue, they went with James and John to the home of Simon and Andrew. Simon's mother-in-law was in bed with a fever, and they immediately told Jesus about her. So he went to her, took her hand, and helped her up. The fever left her, and she began to wait on them. That evening after sunset, the people brought to Jesus all the sick and the demon-possessed. The whole town gathered at the door, and Jesus healed many who had various diseases. He also drove out many demons, but he would not let the demons speak because they knew who he was. Very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, and went off to a solitary place where he prayed. Simon and his companions went to look for him, and when they found him, they exclaimed, "Everyone is looking for you." Jesus replied, "Let us go somewhere else, to the nearby villages, so I can preach there also. That is why I have come." So he travelled throughout Galilee, preaching in their synagogues and driving out demons.
Phil and Amy are going to come up now. Phil's going to interview Amy, which will be really neat. They're both chaplains. And then Phil's going to preach after that from that passage, just letting you know that we're not actually going to record these guys for the live stream, just so that they can be a little bit more open about their life and ministry. Thanks.
Yeah, we don't